Mic on.
Alright, so this is going to be a video saved for later as well, but this is primarily a Tarkov how to start as a fresh player. So once you go through, you'll be prompted to choose a side, USEC or Bear, only difference being the starting gear, whether you get American or Russian made weapons at the start. You'll come to this screen. Highly recommended you click character first. When you first start, this will just be chock full of stuff depending on the package of the game that you've got. If you've got the basic edition, it'll be quite small and not a lot. If you bought any of the upgraded packs, this is going to be pretty full. So the first thing you'll need to do is go through and you right click. Right click does pretty much everything in your inventory here. Most of the stuff in your inventory will be greyed out, so you'll have to right click it and go inspect or examine. Unfortunately, because I'm such a high level, I've pretty much examined everything there is in the current state of the game. Not a great deal that I haven't seen, but when you first start, highly recommended you go through, you just right click everything and examine. Everything you examine in this game will give you experience. So it pays right off the bat. Just go through and get some easy XP. You can easily get 2 to 3 levels just from examining all your gear. You can find your overall level up here. You got some basic stats here. That doesn't really mean much. What you're interested in is your skills. So everything you do contributes to a different part of the game. I'm not going to go through everything today because there's just too much to go through in one session, and I've only got an hour or so here to do it. So I'm going to give you a brief rundown. The grayed out stuff is things that plan to be implemented in the next couple of patches. At this stage, anything grayed out isn't actually in. For some reason, prone movement still gives you experience, but it's not active in the game yet. Okay. Then you've also got mastering based on the weapons you use. So if you were to go look at my most leveled, it's probably going to be assault rifle. Come on, M4. Yeah, and the 8R uses the M4 experience level. That's probably my most leveled weapon. That doesn't really matter at this stage. So right off the bat, as a fresh level 1, if you've chosen Bear, you'll be given a Russian weapon. USEC will be given a American based weapon. Russians will get this. You get 2 to 4 of these depending on what package of the game you've bought. Americans will get 1 of these. And that's all you start the game with, and a buttload of pistols, but there's nothing really to them. So before I use those guns, go here to start a raid. You click escape from Tarkov. PMC is your main character. Whatever you take in on this character, if you die, you will lose it for good. Death is permanent. Gear has a value. If you die, you will lose it unless you paid for insurance, and even if you paid for insurance, there is a chance you won't get it back. Insurance works so that if you pay for insurance, I'll show you here. I'll just pick a map. Right, so anything with the shield is insured, right? Do this, paid for insurance on that magazine, so if I die, I'll get everything with the shield on it back. Assuming that no one touches it. This is a list of everything you're currently wearing that's insured that you're taking into this map. Is it 137? No, that's everything I've ever insured with Therapist. But everything on your body here is stuff that you've paid for insurance on, and if you die, you'll get it back. If a player doesn't pick it up. If I die and an enemy player picks it up and successfully makes it out, I do not get that item back. Alright, so this game's very high risk, but depending on your playstyle, high risk generally leads to high reward. The people who hide in bushes and just take one shot here and there generally don't get a lot of good gear. They just sit there and scavenge. They're basically the vultures of the gaming community. They're not going to get any good gear easily. They're going to have to scrounge and penny pinch to buy the gear, whereas a guy who goes out and picks a fight and actively hunts other players down is going to be looting their corpses, taking their guns, and the chance of getting good gear is quite high. So we'll go back. The other way to play is you play as a scav, which is a randomly generated character who is factioned with the AI. So you will spawn in on the AI team. They won't shoot you unless you shoot them. If you play as a PMC, it's shoot on sight. First C, you'll get shot by any of the AI, and all players will attempt to kill you unless they're people you've partied up with. So going as a scav, is if you die here, this is free gear. So if you make it out, you've just made free money. If you die, then no big deal. It wasn't your gear to begin with. It's stuff that the game generated to give you. Unfortunately, it's a bit pot luck. So that gun there is obviously got no stock, no dust cover. Chance of it jamming is quite high. No foregrip. It's single shot 7.62 by 39, I'm pretty sure. So it's going to be a piece of crap to try and hit people with. I'm not wearing any body armor. He's obviously got a smoking problem. So he's probably going to be quite unhealthy and very easy to kill, this particular character. But that's alright. It's a demo, so no big deal. Sit here. So yeah, when you load in your character on the AI team, you never know what you're going to have. Some days you get fully automatic weapons with body armor and helmets. Other days, like this one, you get a single shot, half skin of an AK, and you just got to make the best of a bad situation. If you're lucky, you'll be able to find a couple of dead players or other dead AI that you can loot and try and get a better gun right off the bat. One thing to bear in mind, some of the AI pays to check their pockets immediately when you spawn, because you can get some very surprising things in their backpacks and pockets. I've found keycards to the money map, which average 50,000 rubles. There's three currencies in the game: Russian rubles, American dollars, and euros. 50,000 Russian rubles is not a great deal, but you're limited to 3 of those keycards a day. So getting a free one from your scav run is always good, because doing the money map, you can make upwards of 1 million per run. So getting a free extra keycard is quite good. Assuming you don't die, of course. Yeah, not a lot I can tell you at this stage. I've got to sort of wait until I load in before I can show you anything. Okay, so I'm in a underground bunker, no one there. So C basic controls, WASD to move, C is crouch, X is go prone. If you shift C and hold C and use mouse wheel, you can gradually stand up. Or if you just press C, you'll go to an immediate crouch. Tab to open your inventory. As you can see, I have no special keycards. I've just got ammo and this crappy AKM using 366 TKM. So this is going to be probably a fail run. To do a mag check, you hold Alt and press T. Check your magazine, tells you what you've got loaded and if you're full. Shift and T will clear a jam. There is no tutorial for this game. So Shift and T clears jams, also checks if you've got one loaded in the chamber. It's faster to do a chamber check than it is to do a mag check, but the mag check tells you what's in the mag, chamber check only tells you if you've got one chambered, obviously. So it's a risk. Q and E lean left and right. You can also do Alt E and Alt Q to sidestep one space left and right. That's a very awkward way to play though. That's another player, so he's not going to shoot me, thank God. Hopefully. See if he follows me, otherwise I might have to kill him. Yeah, he's probably going to follow me and kill me. player is following me. There's no rule that says you can't kill other players when you're playing on the AI team. I try not to do it. But if this guy's going to persist on following me, I'm just going to blow his brains out because I can't be fucked dealing with that guy. So you press F to pick things up. Pretty confident he's going to take a shot at me if I try looting something. That gun shot. Holy fucking hell. Oh, he's got a bolt action weapon. That's alright, so that was a player, because he was looting. AI don't loot, so if you see anyone looting, it's automatically a player. That's alright. So your AI and AI name as well, so that was a player on this AI team. You're allowed to play as that faction once every 10 to 15 minutes. So generally what I like to do is first one for the day, I do my AI run, then I jump on my main character and have a go. Normally by the time you get out, unless you die immediately, you'll have your AI player ready to go again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump my good gear here for now. So I can show you guys the gun you will be using when you start the game. One thing I should cover before we get into it is the medicine. Right at the start of the game, you're going to have a medkit called an AI2, which is this fella here. It's got 100, can restore 100 HP. It only removes radiation exposure. Let me show you why that's important to note. If you come and look at the other medkit that you should have available to you, which is a car first aid kit, stops blood loss and removes toxication, as well as radiation exposure, and does just over double the amount of HP restoration. When you get shot in this game, there is a very high chance later on, but guaranteed at level 1, that you will have a bleeding wound and a fracture. So the first thing you need to do when you get shot is use a car first aid kit or one of these. If you're using a car first aid kit, you can just use that. That's all you have to do. Just use it, it'll stop blood loss. If you're using one of these fellas, you need to carry a bandage, which looks like this. It will stop blood loss. If you just use the AI2 and do not use an army bandage, you will continue to bleed until you die. Using one of these will restore raw HP, but it will not prevent blood loss. So you must have a bandage in the AI2 to stop yourself from dying. If you have a car first aid kit, it's a one-stop shop. It does the bandage and it restores HP at the same time. Later on in the game you'll find a med kit called the IFAK, which also does blood loss, but it does even more HP than the car med kit, and it uses one slot of your inventory. The car med kit uses 2, so at the end of the day you do want the IFAK, but they're locked behind a quest. Right off the bat, try and get car first aid kits. They're your best friend. Do not use these salvers. Yes, 430 is great, but right off at level 1, don't use them. You have a quest where you need to hand in 5 of these. You do 1 for the first quest and then 4 for the next quest. They are extremely expensive and very difficult to find. If you don't have a high level friend who can give you some for free, this quest will get you stuck for quite a while. So save them. Once you've done the quest, then I would recommend using these instead of cars, because it's 400 and stops blood loss. But until you've done the quest, don't use them. In the event that you can't afford a car or an IFAK, and you're using the AI2, you need bandages. almost filter it. There you go. This is what you got access to at level 1. So use a car or an AI2. If you have the AI2, you need to carry antiseptic bandages and an immobilizing splint as well. Because at level 1, tripping off a rock, falling off 3 stairs will fracture a leg. Getting shot in any appendage will result in a fracture, which will haze your screen out with pain. If it's a leg shot and you've got a fractured leg, running and walking on it will continue to deplete your HP until you die. If it's just an arm, it means you won't be able to shoot straight. So you need to carry an immobilizing splint, and I'd recommend 2 to 3 bandages, a minimum of 1 splint if you're using an AI2. Painkillers you can get away with. That will just remove the fuzzy feeling from your screen, which I'll show you and demonstrate what that looks like. Alright. How about for the purpose of this demo, I'll buy 1 of them, 2 of them, 1 of them. I'll take some painkillers as well, so I can demonstrate to you guys what it's going to look like. Alright. You need to get a rig to put your gear in. Now, I'm pretty sure you get given a rig that might be this when you start the game. If not, you come to Ragman. I'll give you a demo. Ragman is clothing. Peacekeeper is American-made weapons. Prapor and Skier are Russian-made weapons. Skier is shotguns and rifles. Prapor is assault rifles. Therapist is medicine only and storage only. Fence is the guy you go to sell knives. There are no quests for Fence. He gives you the worst money back on things you sell him, and he sells you things that other players have sold him, so there's no guarantee if you buy something from him that it will work. So I would strongly recommend that you do not buy anything from Fence, only sell. And if you're selling, just sell knives, because he's the only guy who accepts them. Mechanic does a little bit of American and Russian weapons. I'll give you an example. So you got a Glock, which is more of a Euro thing. M1 EBR, so modded American weapons. The SA-50, Belgian SA-50, AK-102, chambered in 5.56. As you can see, modded M4s, very lightly modded weapons. Then you got things like a Mosin with a cut down barrel and handle. You got AKs, you got MP7s, you got thermal optic, heavily modified AKs in 7.62x39. Your heavily modded M4s with thermal optics. This guy, the PPE 1901, heavily modified with a holographic sight, that is fantastic as a beginner's stealth weapon with a suppressor. So this guy you come to for already pre-modded weapons. They're expensive, but if you can't, or if you struggle with modding, this might be a good option for you. Or ask a friend who you play with. He might be able to mod stuff. He or she could mod it for you, and you just give him the money. Alright. So, I'm going to buy a rig. I'm just going to buy one of the vests that the AI wear. Oh no, I can't, because I need... So that's where your rig, carry rig goes. Body armor actually goes over here. I'm going to bring both of these guns in. Put that there. So to keybind stuff, you click it, then press the number you want it on. Alright, so I need one more mag for that, one more mag for that. I'm not going to go into modding particularly much now. I'll leave that for a later date. At this stage, all I want to do is show you guys the basics, how to start. If you're a fresh level 1 guy, what can you do right off the start? Ammo, I'll do that after this. The ammo is normally what a lot of people struggle to understand in this game. Every bullet does a different thing. Every bullet is designed to penetrate a different type of body armor. But I'll cover that after I do this run. not even going to mod the weapons. I'm just going to do it as if I'm a level 1 brand new guy ready to go. You can insure stuff here before you go. Highly recommend you go with Therapist, so I'll explain it. Therapist will return this item to you within 12 to 24 hours of your death, if no one takes it from you. Prapor is cheaper, but it's 24 to 36 hours before he returns it to you. What that's saying is, if you die right now, midday, Monday, from midnight tonight through to midday tomorrow, I can collect my gear from Therapist. If you can't log on during that time period, your gear is gone forever. So before you start a raid, think about when you're going to be on next, and if A, is insurance worth paying for, and B, can you log in to claim that gear that you think you might be getting back. If not, you're probably wasting 1100 rubles, or in Therapist's case, 1700. Things to consider. Once you're rich, price doesn't matter, but for now, I should be right. I'll just log in before work tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna see body armor at level 1 is not gonna leave you with a lot of options. So you got a packer, which you need to trade a face mask for. That's unfortunate. You can get a helmet, which is handy. Don't buy the coal packs, it's like a motorcycle helmet. The only thing it stops is melee fists. A steel helmet is better than nothing. Earmuffs, I'll demonstrate them in game so you can see what it sounds like, and I'll just get a small backpack to put them in. Body armor, you can get a packer with face masks, so I'll buy a packer now. Most people won't be able to get the packer straight up unless they're willing to pay money for it or talk to their friend. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to assume a best case scenario. When I get to the... give you a quick rundown on armor. So there's 5 armor classes in the game. This is a class 2. Aramid, light, durable. This will not affect your running speed particularly much. You will still pretty much be able to run at full speed wearing this. Whereas if you were to come down and you were to wear Gen 4 full assault protection, Titan level armor, this is one of the top 5 heaviest armors in the game. So if you're wearing this, you're probably going to reduce your running speed by, oh there you go, 33% plus the weight of your ammo and your gun. So by the time you take into account gun weight, weight in your tactical rig, the weight of your helmet, and if you've got a backpack, you're going to reduce your running speed by at least 50%. Whereas as you can see here, my body limit, I can carry 40 kilos before I get hindered. So at the moment, I can still run at full speed. Whereas if I ditch the AK, that'll drop even lower. See that? 23.4, 26. So I dumped this AS Val on there, 27, because it's a heavier gun. I've modified it quite extensively. Alright. Insure the backpack. I generally don't bring bags into raids. That's because I don't like... I'm not a big looter, I'm more of a killer. So, when you're ready to start your raid, you go escape from Tarkov, pick your PMC, pick a map. I'm going to pick a map pretty small. You pick your time zone, everything's in 24-hour time, obviously shows you the weather condition. Factory, time never changes. Other maps, times change and the weather changes. Alright? So you got to pick, do you want it to be dusk going darker, or do you want it to be dark getting brighter? If you were to deploy on the 5 AM one, you would start in the twilight, and by the time you get out, because the raid has a 25-minute timer on it, it'll be almost full daylight. Whereas if you do shoreline, you got 35 minutes by the time you get out. It'd definitely be full daylight, but because it's raining, it might be overcast. There's a good chance it'll still be quite dark. Depends on whether it's thunderstorm or not. That could be just showers, but that's also the symbol for thunderstorms. You have no way of knowing. For now, I'm going to do a nice easy factory run. This is like a Call of Duty map, just, yeah, really close quarters, lots of enemies, only 5 players. Every map has a limit to players, 4 to 6, 8 to 13, 6 to 12, 9 to 14. Biggest map, second most amount of money probably. Seconded only to the lab, which has super AI on it. For now, we're going to do here. As a beginner, I'd highly recommend ticking enable offline mode, enable PvE, leave it as online as online. This will let you practice. There's no HUD on this. There's no map that tells you the extraction is this way. So unless you've got a dual monitor, it's going to be quite difficult for you to find an extraction point. Because as a beginner, the best thing you could do is leave your second monitor open with a map on it and try and orientate yourself off landmarks. I'm going to give you a quick run around on this map. This is more going to be so you can see how a weapon handles. And then afterwards I'm going to give it a quick mod and show you. So B will change your fire mode. Everything defaults to single fire. I'm going to show you the MP5 and the AK and how they handle unmodified. This is exactly how you will be getting the gun when you start the game. You can press L, inspects your gun so you can have a bit of a perv. Shift T to see if it's chambered. Alt T to tell you how much ammo you got left, less than half. Different magazines have viewing ports on the side, so you can actually see. You hear how loud this shit is? Take the earmuffs off. Back on. Makes footsteps louder. Loud as shit. And voices. Contacts. They're your best friend. So someone's walking up metal.
What on?
He's dead. See that? The AK just dropped him in one headshot. One little burst, dropped him. But the kick on this is quite severe. The kick on an AK is probably 5 times worse than the MP5. So you're running around, find locked doors, loot all over the shelves on the floor. You've also got to listen for any enemies that are around. Good map. If you're in a party, sit up here. One guy watches this end, other guy watches that end and that side. First guy watches that side. You can pretty much kill every AI and player from here if you've got a good trigger finger. Shadows. If a player was here, he'd see my shadow and know where I am. Thankfully the AI aren't that smart yet. Running on this still gantry, you'll be able to hear me through the entire map.
Okay, it's nothing. Spread! Are you nuts? What the hell? Right behind!
Trying to find an AI that can shoot me so I can demonstrate the medical system for you. Just gotta be careful not to die from the shot. break your legs, like so.
Лупы!
Oh fuck. Right. See my screen's going funny? I've also got to go immediately on my left here. I have a broken leg. Means I can't walk, or very well, stagger. The white dots in the bottom left corner indicate your movement speed. I am pretty much how to crawl.
Давай, мочи! Вот петух!
Less than half.
Хоп!
I think that's empty. Oh, it's close. Alright, so you can press your hotkey down the bottom. You can click health and drag the splint onto the broken appendage. So if I had a broken arm and a leg, I'd need to click this and do it manually, because otherwise your character will immediately go for the fastest one. It's faster to splint an arm than it is to splint a leg. So my vision's getting a little better. Still not perfect. And I got the shakes because I'm in pain. Got the pain symbol. Your vision gets slowly better, but that doesn't always get fixed as a level 1. So I'm level 35-ish. My guy can shake off the pain. At level 1, you would definitely need... Click. At level 1 you would definitely need a painkiller. Always look after your legs. If your legs go, you can't run. And see now I've splintered, I've got almost my full movement speed back.
Давай, мочи!
Let's go over.
Ах ты ебагала!
Hear him.
Сказала, уже неплохо. Кеп!
I'm starting to get nervous now because I'm running out of ammo on my AK. If we're gonna die, it'll be when this gun runs out. The MP5 just doesn't have the stopping power that the AK does. You've got to be careful not to break the leg again.
Вон он!
Right? I'm out of ammo.
Shit! No ammo!
Right? He doesn't always yell that, I made him do that.
Вот он!
So you see that? I just got hit. You double tap the key, you'll just whip it out. He did the leg. The head is almost dead. Head goes 0, you're instant dead regardless of the other body parts. And I'm out of medkits, so I'm going to use my eye here, but generally, as a level 1, you'll need to bring multiple AI attacks, because 100 HP is not going to go far with all these body parts. 6, 12, 18, 24, and 10 is 130. Yeah, you got just over 250 to 300 HP. Oh, there you go, 435 total. 435 to use.
Вон он!
Bullets can go through terrain, so be careful what you hide behind. Okay, that's good. I can show you a fracture. This is how you move with a frag shake.
Сука ты, блядь, ты упырь, блядь, гнида, блядь.
It's fucked. Thankfully I got more space. Fast running out of ammo. I couldn't go loot a gun off the guy.
Служи!
See that? MP5 just has no stopping power at range. You've got to be up close. If you're not up close, you're just pretty much dead. Did I say to do that? He's got a shotgun, that's useless. Uzi. Uzi. Shotgun. Shotgun. I'm not gonna get out of here. So you press double O, see how long you got left in an extraction. It doesn't tell you when they are, it just says what ones are available to you. So you run to the extract, you sit there. I'm not going to spoil where the extracts are, I'll leave that for you guys to explore and figure it yourselves. Gives you your after action report, total XP, how long you spent there. Oh, most of your headshot or thorax shots, upper chest, the old headshot. I generally aim for the upper chest. Gives you after action hits, 40 shots fired. Doesn't actually say. Normally it tells you shots fired. Anyway, might be different because it's offline. So in offline, none of this will count. That XP will get taken off me. Offline, everything you died with gets given back to you, and your XP gets reverted to what it was prior to entering the mission. So offline is purely a sandbox for your personal training. There is no risk in dying in offline mode. So you saw how each of those handled. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a quick modification to each of them with as much level 1 stuff as I can. The MP5 will be quite difficult because a lot of the MP5 stuff is locked behind a quest. The AK on the other hand, you'll be able to do a fair bit with. Get straight to the AK, level 1, ultimate gas tube, change that for a polymer. So you've got two ways. You come here, go to the vendor, see what you can get. Alternatively, AK-74U, rubber grip, regular grip. Okay, not ideal. You've got two ways to do it. You buy it from here or you go to the flea market. I'll show you some parts you can get, how you can make this gun a little bit more usable. The AK is not hard. It's the what? What's going on here? So if you go here, it'll give you a error. 74U. Okay. Those parts don't suit that weapon. Interesting. Oh, there we go. Even says 74U on it. Just wasn't paying attention. There you go. Immediately usable. How about that? 74M. No, 74U. It's no biggie. Not a big deal. Charging handle. Increases your cocking and reload speed. 74U. So that let me change the stock. ergonomic stock so you can aim down sights a bit quicker. I'm gonna want receiver rail so I can put a sight on it. So the only thing missing from this now is a sight of some description. I want to put on there something simple, reflex sight, that'll do. Excuse me, alright. There we go, reflex sight on the AK. And has it got a muzzle attachment? No, it doesn't. What have we got? 545 by 39. There we go, muzzle brake. Nice loud one, there you go. Nice, simple AK modification. You know what else I'm missing? A foregrip. 74U. There we go. Nice, simple AK mod. I'll buy a dust cover, prevent the jamming. Hey presto, nice modded AK. A buttload more ergonomics, better vertical recoil. Just that'll handle like a basic MP5 now. So it's going to be a different gun. MP5s are a little more difficult to mod. Yeah, MP5 upper. MP5 upper. Upper receiver, upper receiver. MP5 SD, that's what you want, MP5 SD upper receiver. So you remove this one, put that one in. So you can get a skeleton stock for higher ergonomics, so you can get a solid stock. There you go. Fixed stock, which I think is that one. Personally, I prefer skeleton. And that's for the MPX, which I haven't bought for this demo, so get a skeleton stock for this MP5. Red means it's currently not usable. In its current condition, you couldn't use it. Probably, oh, it's got a cocking handle, so what's wrong here? I thought it needed. Oh, muzzle. Alright. Need a muzzle for the MP5. And a foregrip. So, nope. Probably going to be a mag lock one. .762. Oh man, that'll probably go on. No. There you go, MP5. Not a lot you can do with a basic MP5, really. There's you're very restricted with what you can and can't do. When you mod your MP5s, if you can, you're better off getting an MPX because you can put so many more attachments on it. Yeah, that's pretty much what you do. You can put a sight on there as well. What's the error now? It does not have a handguard. MP5 handguard. Polymer handguard. There is a tropical wide one. Just depends what you want. There is a metal one floating around somewhere, but for the life of me I cannot remember where it is. Aluminium handguard, there you go. So you buy that from mechanic, but I can't be bothered. Put that. Excuse me. Alright, so why is that not working? No, because it's the SD, you have to have the polymer ones. If I didn't make it suppressed, then you could have a aluminium one with a heap of mounts on it. So we get the wide tropical handguard. Excuse me. Am I limited to this? There you go. Alright. Sight. Got a mount on top, mount at the rear. Whatever. Take them as they are. Go back in. Factory. Oh, not that. Do that. Crank the AI amount up to high. You guys can see a little bit more instant bang with high amount of AI. There's going to be a lot of guys here. So I've got the MP5 to start with. Just chamber this, ready for when things go bad.
Double! Вылезай давай, нахрен вылезай! Да ладно.
So as you can see, MP5 is trash. At range, because you have to get so close to make an MP5 worthwhile.
Double!
There you go. Put a whole mag into that guy, still didn't kill him. Doesn't help that at level 1 you've only got trash armor. Alright. Go back in. Have a look at it with the AK this time.
Куда он делся? Вот он, сука! Эй, ты куда пошел?
Come on. If I had an M4 or a DMR, I would have taken a shot through the grate, but not with an AK. Even though you modded this, because it's such a short stock AK, the recoil would have been too much for me to make that shot.
Что за хрень? Вон он, сука! Кепка! Вон он! Чё, обосрался? Ты где? Тупырь! Давай, мочи! Вот ты сука! Вот ты шалава!
Are you serious?
Правый коронный, правый по коронной! Подписал там совсем не валить надо его! Куда он проебался? Ты пизда!
So as you can see, MP5s are horrendous at low level. So picking USEC at low level will really hinder you, because the starting weapons are all MP5s and P226 pistols, which use the same ammo as the MP5, so it is just useless. The AK, on the other hand, drops them immediately, but the accuracy and recoil is horrendous. So it's a catch-22. You could fire the AK on single shot, but then your follow-up shots are slower. So it's a little bit of a gamble as to what you do. Sell that, keep that, everything else can go. And thanks for watching my one viewer. And anyone else who decides to watch it at a later date, thanks for having a look. I'll catch you later.